soldiers on the table march in line. Painted shields and swords, they shine so fine. Dice roll like thunder, sealing fate. In this battle of ours, let's not be late. Wargaming in miniature, no war too small. Battles on the tabletop, we'll conquer all. Heroes made of plastic, armies clash and roar. Wargaming in miniature, let's fight some more. Oh. Kings and castles rise where soda can stood. Mountains made of books, it's a cardboard wood. Strategy of giants on a scale so flee. We topple empires with a cup of tea. Wargaming in miniature, no war too small. Battles on the tabletop, we'll conquer all. Heroes made of plastic, armies clash and roar. Wargaming in miniature, let's fight some more. Battlegrounds in living rooms, legends unfold in the chaos of dice. Our stories are told from the rookies of war to generals wise. The fate of tiny worlds lies in our eyes. Snacks to the side and the glue close by. We men, broken warriors, give them one more try. Cavalry rides beneath the lamp's warm light. On this tiny frontier, we rewrite the fight. Wargaming in miniature, no war too small. Battles on the tabletop, we'll conquer all. Heroes made of plastic, armies clash and roar. Wargaming in miniature, let's fight some more. Let's fight some more. Let's fight some more. No. Tiny soldiers on a grand paper plane, rolling dice to echo cannons refrain. Kingdoms rise within this tabletop dust. In strategy and chaos we place our trust. The generals lean with a calculating stare. Hands of fate guide moves with a flare. Tiny hills climb where valleys fall steep. Battles fought while the house stays asleep. Wargaming dreams on a six-sided star. In this microcosm we travel so far. Heroes die small, but their legends grow large. In this tiny world we're always in charge. Painted commanders in coats of bold hue patrol the terrain in colors so true. Armies clash with a flick of the wrist. Victory's a mark on a checklist kissed. Dice are the drums of this parade of might. The board is the map glowing soft through the night. Imagination ignites where the pieces collide. A universe unfolds we cannot hide. 100 battles fought in one single room. Victories blazing, entropy and gloom. Armies may fade, but spirits don't rest. In the heat of this game, we earners of trust.
In fields of green and battle stage, a world in miniature engage.
All right. Hello again, everybody. This is Derek, and I'm coming back at you with another Wargaming in miniature video. That's it. What I would like is something as a visor on my eyes so I can see what I'm doing. That's the only reason why I wear this hat during my streams. It's because it has this little visor that, because I've got the super bright light up here. I've got a bright light over here, but this is kind of behind me, so I don't really care about that. So how's everybody doing? I've got a ton of miniatures sitting on my table right here, right? These are all of the figures that I have. Okay, that's actually not true. This is everything except the limbers. All of the infantry and cavalry that I have painted, that's not based correctly. Oh, actually, I'm not sure. I think there might be a cavalry unit. Either way, what I've done is in my wall back here, I don't know if you can see it. You can see a little bit of it, the white boxes there. I've got a whole wall of those, and each tray, well, in my Napoleonic section, I should say, each tray has a division in it. Like 5th Division Bachelou, or 6th Division Jerome, or 9th Division Foy. Actually, they have a division and possibly a small division in there as well, like a cavalry brigade or something, whatever. But basically, what I'm trying to say is I went through each one of those trays and I pulled out all of the figures that I had finished that are incorrectly based. All of these guys are based for my marshals and generals beta, or whatever you want to call it, right? Alpha. I'll call it alpha. I thought I was going to do, okay. Initially, I had based them like Field of Glory. I had put them 4 figures on a 40 millimeter base, 15 millimeter depth, right? So I thought, okay, that's pretty good, right? And then I started playing Meg, And I realized that that 15 millimeter base is too narrow, and the figure, like when they go up hills, or if I have to set them on the edge of some kind of terrain piece or something, they have a tendency to tip over, right? But with my Meg figures, whenever I did that very same thing, the very same hills or the very same terrain pieces, they did not tip over. And that's because they were on 40 by 20, right? So slightly larger, right? These are 15s. This was 20. And the 20s, and this is exactly how my Romans and my Germans and my Macedonians and everything else are based like this. And I said, oh, this would be a perfect, I could go to this size, because 40 millimeters, 4 figures, instead of 15, I'll just go with 20s. So I based a lot of figures like this. A lot. I mean, I've got a ton of figures like this. And then going through my rules and the way I want units to deploy on the table, I'm just going to pull one of these units out. I'm talking right now, but I'm going to be rebasing here in a minute. I was wanting this to be a line, right? Because I did not want okay, this is 24 figures, right? I did not want this to be a line. It is way too wide. I did go with some 20 millimeter bases, and I put 4 figures on them, a lot like Black Powder or not Marshals and Generals, Soldiers of Napoleon, stuff like that. I did go with like a 4 figure square, but that didn't last very long at all. This is a very thin line, 1 figure across, and it just doesn't look right visually. Plus, it takes up the exact same amount of width as a Black Powder 28 millimeter game would take. And that is just too big. I was wanting to not necessarily half everything, but I wanted to go at least 2/3. So I wanted my line to be only this wide, right? And then I came up with this plan that if I mount my figures like this, I can make it a requirement in the rules that 2 base line, right? And I struggled with that as being an add-on to a rule set that totally doesn't even need to be there, right? And so then I started putting together my American War of Independence armies in earnest. I had put together some of them already, but not really paying attention to what I was doing. I was just mounting them as the rules would say. But then I had an epiphany why don't I mount my Napoleonics figures the same way that I do my American War of Independence? Because they are on 40 by 30s, right? And a 40 by 30 is the same size, exact same size as these 40 by 15s in 2 ranks, right? So these bases are the exact same size as that. And if I base them on these in 2 ranks, I would effectively create something like this without having 2 separate bases. Something going on with this finger. I'm going to have to probably put something on this finger. Feeling a little blistery. Are you getting ready to go to work?
Yeah, in like a couple hours.
Oh, okay. Got a late day then. And so things are starting to come together, right? But in if I mounted them like this, using this as a concept, I would only have 3 bases as a unit, and I wanted there to be an even number of bases. 100%, I wanted there to be an even number. Always want to have an even number. I'm not doing base removal, like when you take a casualty, you don't, like in Napoleon's battles or whatever, you don't take a base off, and then based on how many bases you have remaining is how your firepower is and stuff like that. I'm not doing that. So to get this to fit on 4 bases, I decided to go with 3 figures instead of 4 figures. And that's exactly the way I've already been doing it with my American War of Independence. And so basically, my Napoleonics is starting to look like my American War of Independence, even though my American War of Independence is 3 bases across. The Napoleonics ones, I wanted 4 bases. Okay, so you can imagine units are 4 bases, 40 by 30s, with 6 figures of base, right? And the reason why I wanted to do 4, you can form a march column. You can form an attack column. You can form a line, and better yet, you can form a square. And the square is really the defining feature of why I went with four bases. Okay, so we're going to rebase, which basically means I'm going to cut these guys off and I'm going to glue them onto some of these bases. But that glue is going to take forever to dry. So, and it does take quite a bit of time for me to cut these off of these bases. Some of these boxes have 4 units in them, some have 3 units. I'm just going to do 1 unit at a time, and we're going to try to knock as many of them out as we can. So, just guessing on the top of my head, I'm thinking I'm going to be able to do a box a day. And with 8 of these boxes, it's going to take me a week to get them all rebased. Okay, we'll do all of these first. Now, with bigger boxes, with bigger bases, I'm thinking that I'm knowing that I'm not going to be able to get all the divisions in the boxes that I have designated, the trays. I'm not going to be able to get them these things. This fabric is very sticky, very not like glue sticky, but like gets caught on things. Okay, Brunswick First Light. Okay, I've got my magnifying glasses right here. Okay, I'm going to put a protective cover on this thumb just in case. I'm not sure which fingers need protection. They probably all do. You know what I mean? Yeah, this light unit has a standard bearer, but I never gave them a standard. And I don't know if they even deserve one. As in, I don't know if they're supposed to have one or not. Yeah, these 15mm bases are like really hard to rebase off of. Not only are they 15mm deep, but I based them on the thinnest base I could find, which was the Litgo 0.8mm. And I've gotten away from that. I thought 0.8. Let me rephrase that. I thought real thin bases was the way to go, I thought that for many years. I said, you know, just make the bases as thin as possible. You know, because it would be the least obtrusive or whatever. But in fact, the thinnest base is actually the worst base. I'll explain why here in just a minute. My stomach is doing some serious growling at me right now. It does that sometimes. Yeah, I'm hoping I don't cut my finger doing this. Okay. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is up until about 11, maybe 12, 11 or 12, I'm going to, that's when this stream is going to end. But up until then, I'm going to strip them off of their bases and glue them onto their new bases. And I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to sit here and wait for the glue to dry. You know, I'm going to do a unit, glue it down to the base, glue it down to its new bases, do a unit, glue it down to its new bases, and just keep going. And then after, like I said, after, well, hell, I could rebase them all, every unit, and then apply mud. You know, I could have 20 units done and then apply mud later. And then apply grass even after that. Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is I'm going to do as many as I can, and then at some point I'll start applying mud. Okay. Oh, no, one more. Sounds like thunder is outside, so it might start raining here pretty soon. Yeah, I might have to get up and go use the bathroom here in just a minute. possible. Okay. So now, oh, yep, it started raining. It sounds like it started raining. So now all I do is I just clean off the edges and the bottom of the base just to make sure they can stand up on their own when I put them in the glue. Oh, the bottom of the base. No. Okay, his base was starting to bend. Okay, give me a second. I'll be right back. I gotta go use the bathroom. Ooh, be right back. Let me put this off to the side. There we go. And yeah, let me take some of this. So, does anybody know what the 3-eye atlas is? No, because it's classified, but I have a little nuanced thought process about that whole subject. And how it relates to my religion. I am a believer in God. Okay. I strongly believe in a higher power that created all life and the universe and everything else. I also believe that I do not, okay, let me back up. I do not believe in the Trinity, the Holy Trinity or whatever, the Holy Spirit as a separate entity. I think that's bull. But I do believe that Jesus was also created by God. And by creating him, we call him the Son of God, right? Because he's the Father. So I do believe in the Father and the Son. I don't believe and the Holy Spirit. No. The Holy Spirit is God. So I'm a Christian, but I'm not a Catholic. I don't believe in any kind of Holy Trinity. Okay, having said that, I also believe in the possibility that there can be alien life. There can be intelligent life on other planets, in other solar systems. I believe that's a possibility. And then you say, but Derek, how can you possibly believe that if you believe in God? Well, what I do is I turn it around on you and say, how can you not believe it? If you can believe that there's a God and he created everything, what makes you think that he couldn't have created multiple races? I believe he could create whatever he damn well wants to create. You know what I'm saying? Okay, there. Now, you'll come back at me and you'll say, but he created us, and this is where my argument gains teeth. You'll say, but Derek, in the Bible it says that he created us in his image. Are you saying that he created all these alien life in his image? And my answer is yes, but not in the way you think. You're thinking physically. I'm thinking metaphysically. Okay, when he creates life on this planet, boom, and he creates us with 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, everything's everything's symmetrical, and the planet, and we evolved on this planet based on like the gravity in the atmosphere and all that stuff. Our image, that doesn't mean that God has 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, 2 ears. No, he's beyond that. He's a ghost. He's a spirit. He's a all-powerful being, right? He's not limited by a physical form. So when it says he created us in his image, I take that as we have the same capacity to love, same capacity to get mad, even wrath, right? We can think. We have independent thought. That's the image that he created us in, the image of his spirit, his soul, his riz, if you will, right? And so what I'm saying is an alien race, let's just say lizard people, right? Let's say there's this lizard people. He could easily have sent a prophet on their world, created a Jesus-like creature that was a lizard to teach them and to die for their sins and all that stuff. And he could also have told them that he created them in his image. He's not a lizard. But they could still have thought processes. They could have loves. They could have vengeance. They can have free will, all that stuff. And that would be him creating them in his image. They might have something like the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So I don't eliminate the fact that there could be other alien races. And I'm not saying they're good or they're bad because of that whole free will thing. But I have a feeling that if there are other alien races out there and they have any possibility of traveling through space then they have to have had some kind of society that didn't wipe itself out, evolved, which means that there's probably some good in it. So I look forward to meeting any alien races that are out there. Probably never going to happen in my lifetime. But I look forward 100 million years from now. I don't know when it happens. If we can make it that long. If we don't wipe ourselves out before this happens. All right, bitch. Get you standing up. There you go. The reason why I mention all this and the reason why I share my thought process with you has nothing to do with miniature basing. Because I was thinking about that 3-eye atlas. You guys are familiar with the 3-eye atlas? The whole reason why it's called 3-eye, you might or might not be familiar with the numbering terminology or whatever. It is the third interstellar object that has come through our solar system. So it's called 3-eye. The first one was 1-eye, the second one is 2-eye. But now this 3-eye has a name called Atlas. So you could just call it Atlas if you want. Okay, I'm going to try to figure out which one of my pens actually can still write. Some of them are out of ink. I don't know why I keep them, but nope, this one writes. Do I want to say Brunswick? First Light. knowing those are all good, I can take all of this and dump it. Could save those bases for something, but I've never figured out how to completely clean them off, so. Put that off to the side. So this 3i Atlas is a large asteroid or comet. They're not sure what. And it's been traveling through our solar system for a couple of months now. And they believe, you can look it up. I could be wrong on a lot of this, but they believe that it's changed direction a couple of times, and it's also has changed color a couple of times, indicating that maybe it's accelerating or decelerating. Like it's got its, like originally it had its nose facing us, and now it's turned around and has its aft facing us. And so there was a hue shift on the color, like from yellow to purple or something like this, indicating that now maybe we see its contrail or its aft thrust or whatever. It's also changed direction, and then recently they've received a signal from it. Or they suspect, and it's the same signal as the wow signal, or a similar signal to the wow signal. That they received, and that wow signal came from approximately the same direction. Okay, I'm trying to organize these figures in, okay, here we go, here he is, into like bases. All of these troopers are going to be the same. These are the only different ones. I could put all 6 of those on one base, but I think I'm not going to. Okay, there's a green and there's a white. Uh-oh. I can't remember. Okay, I could put this white in another. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna. Give me a second. I gotta pull up my uniform list. Brunswick. Light. First. Okay. The companies had green. Okay. The staff also has green. Okay. I got one of my guys has white. Should they have both been green? Oh my gosh, I don't even know anymore. I might have done like this guy. No, not that guy. That's like the second in command. This the first in command is in green. Supreme officer. Major. Subaltern. Hmm. A lot of quartermasters. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, for some reason I was thinking green was the main officer. Okay. So what we're going to do, turn that off. Okay, we're going to make the green the main officer. I'm going to put a drummer with him, even though he's supposed to have a horn. The Old Glory didn't provide me with a horn. They provide me with a drummer. And standards. I'm going to put this guy in the back. This guy in the front. I think I might give this guy a second drummer. To really bring it home. And I'll put this guy on another base somewhere. Actually, I think I want to put this guy directly behind the other standard. Also, something this hat does for me is it holds my second glasses in place. All right, that looks good. But that's only one. Okay, the guys that are shoulder arms, I'm putting in the back rank. The guys that are advancing with their weapons in front, I'm putting in the front rank. If you haven't noticed, I'm kind of switching it up, alternating, trying not to put the same figure on the same base. Using the art of luck to kind of and not really also not really paying attention, just letting the figures go where they may. Okay, there's 2 shoulder arms. Okay. I want to make sure I put them. And what I also try to do is, if there's 2 figures that have the same pose, I try to put them in different spots on the like this one's left, this one's middle, this one will be on the right. It gives them like a unique positioning. Okay, now this one's got his weapon down a little bit, but not much. And the rest of these are carrying their weapons almost straight up and down. Oh, I thought I was missing one. But it is hard to see black. Except I painted these with, I think what I painted them was German uniform black, which is kind of like, it's black, but it's got a very slight hint of gray in it. You know how like German gray is more like a gray with some black in it? This is a black with some gray in it. Okay, that's got to go back. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. 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 Okay. So I go this far, and then it's time to do another unit. That's one. Decided I'm going to do cavalry this time. And these guys should be Dutch hussars. Yeah, 6th Dutch hussars. Hussars. I must not have had that one all the way pulled up because a little bit baggy. Okay, so 1014 is when I started on this unit. I'm just curious to see how long it takes me to do it. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, oh, I almost got the legs. Okay. Be a little more careful. Got it. Get underneath this base. Okay, go this way. If I cut into the wood, it's okay because I can always cut it off later. I really wanted to time an infantry one. His calves a little bit different, a little bit easier, less figures. Now, I still want to record a Napoleonic project update because I finished those 2 British battalions. The first Royal Scots and the 28th North North something North North something Chestershire, Gloucestershire, something like that. But either way, it's the 28th and the 1st. And I've got them sitting on the turntable on the table out there. I want to do a close-up, let you guys see that. But during my Napoleonic project update, I'm going to talk about I'm just going to briefly go over the fact that I am in the process of rebasing. And I've got almost every unit finished. Almost. I've only got I think 9 more battalions to do. And then I'll have all of Quatre Bras ready to go. I do believe. Okay. Let me peel off the extra. If I can't get all of these to stand. Yep. That one looks like he was a little bit on the I'm leaning side. Okay, he's perfect now. Okay. Not perfect, but at least he's upright. Yeah, I've got all the generals are done. All but 2 of the artillery is done. The only 2 artillery that needs to be done is a couple of French horse artillery. I have the figures. I just need to put them together. Okay. Let's put musician over here. I'm sorry, standard bearer. I'm holding the musician in my hand. And I think this is the officer. I'll have to scrutinize. This guy's got, these 2 guys have black plumes. Hang on. This guy's got a white tip. I have a feeling he's the officer. All the other guys have got black plumes. I guess I'm going to have to look here in just a second. Like he's leaning. Okay. Yeah, the act of cutting them off the base, I might have pulled on the figure a little bit. and it might have bent them, skewed the base of their figure. And also cleaning off this residue. Really? Okay, this one, before I even stand it up, I can see that it's going to be crooked. Yeah, he is. Okay, that one's good. Losing my pen. 6th Dutch Hussar. All right, before I mount this, I want to make sure I'm doing it right. Yeah, they're wearing black. Staff there has a white tip. Yep. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'll see you when you get back. Yeah. When you open that door, you could really hear the rain. We've got this barrel outside that collects rainwater for the garden. Okay, I realize what's throwing me off. This drummer's leaning a little bit too much. I'm gonna fix this. Ah, there we go. There we go. All right, that's the command stand. through the power of randomness. Any more big bases like that? Not really. Good dogs. Okay. 10:40. So about 30 minutes. Okay. 30 minutes to cut them off, clean the base, and get them stuck. I don't think I've got any more cavalry that needs to be done. The rest is all limbers and infantry. But these 8 boxes are all just infantry. Okay, the Lieb Battalion. Yeah, almost 11. One of the reasons why I wanted to stop at 11 is because there is I'm a big fan of Star Citizen, as you probably know. I've been playing Star Citizen. And the International Aerospace Expo, I think, starts at 11. I think that's my math is correct. It might be 12, but I think it's 11. But either way, I've been thinking that I wanted to jump in and record some of that. But I also want to record my Napoleonic project as well. Okay, let's check. It's 42. Yeah, I wanted to see how fast the infantry could be done. Now, the Lieb is the Life Battalion. I kind of consider it kind of like the Brunswick Guard. But They're listed under the light infantry. But Lieb doesn't mean light, it means life. And life usually means guard. Or at least in the British Army it does. I understand that these guys are Brunswick, which is kind of a derivative of the Prussians. You know, maybe that's something I could do a little research on. Because I want to say Lieb Guard. And the way you can tell that they're part of the Lieb or life is that they have a different style of plume. They have the hussar plume. It's kind of like a pole, and at the top of the pole it has a dangling plume that hangs off of it. Where most of the other units, all the other units, they have these just pom-pom style plumes that poke up from the shako. These plumes can, blow in the wind or whatever because they're long hair, hanging style plumes. Yeah, I could easily cut myself right there. Oh, rain's coming down pretty hard now. I can see this process possibly giving me a blister. And I'm dangerously close to cutting my finger every time. There we go. Now I'll feel a little bit better about not cutting myself. And I can maybe go a little faster. Leap could also mean love, right? Or um, like, not love, what's the word I'm looking for? Not family, but like someone you adore or someone you admire or whatever. I think okay, we're going to try to get these guys to stand up. Clean off the loose block. I just bumped those figures, but that's okay. It was loose. I just couldn't get my fingernail in there. Okay. Is there another officer? Ah, here we go. Okay, I see you're going to be a pain in the behind. The base looks a little bent. Okay, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with this base, or how I'm going to fix it. Need to see. Okay, it will stand up. Okay. Yeah, I had set in my mind 1 hour per battalion, but that might have been 4 battalions in 4 hours with the whole glue drying and everything. I don't know. That's why I'm timing it right now. I'm doing all the line troops with the same pose first. I'm putting them all in a... Basically, I'm separating them by pose so that when I do eventually start gluing them down to the base, I won't have to eyeball it. They'll already be separated. They'll already be separated. Yep, that one wants to tip over. This is probably going to be the last battalion that I do on stream today. I might do some more later, off camera or whatever. Just depends on how I feel today. I've got a little bit of paperwork I need to do for my Pendragon game. One of my players in my Pendragon game has become wishy-washy. He's missing more days than he's attending. But at least this morning, he sent me a message, sent everybody in the Discord a message saying that his computer is acting up and that he might not be able to make it. He said he's trying his best to fix his computer. He's going to try to make it, but he might be late or something like that. Okay, I heard a drop, but I don't see a figure in there. Um, I told him that he can play. He can log into Discord from his phone, and we can roll the dice for him in the game. He doesn't have to be in the game. But Roll20 does have a phone app. You can actually play from your phone if you wanted. You don't have to have a computer. It's just a lot easier to control everything on a computer because you don't have this one little tiny little screen. Okay. He's standing, but I feel like he's leaning. Okay, now he's not. So there's this new game out. It's called Dispatch. It takes place in LA in California, and it's about superheroes and supervillains, and it's animated, and it's like a choose your own adventure kind of game. You pick options when they pop up, like do you go left, do you go right kind of stuff. And then there's in the background, there's a story going on. Now, I'm not going to spoil it for you because you might want to play it, or you might want to watch somebody else play it. But I've got some negative things to say about this game. And I've thought about taking some time and making a video specifically targeting this game, because it is extremely popular. But what I've noticed is everybody that's playing it and streaming it, they're probably about 20 years old. I think they're all 20 to 25. And 90% of them are girls. Now, it appears on the surface that it's a really cool game, right? I can see where people would go, wow, this is really cool. And believe it or not, I've watched about about six different playthroughs. Some of them not all the way through because I got bored watching them, because they had nothing to add. They were just quiet playing the game. And I'm like, why am I watching you play if I'm not getting any commentary? And one of the other people I've stopped watching, she is just so stupid. That's right, I told you, I said it. She was just so ignorant about how to play the game that I just couldn't watch her anymore. I was struggling. I was like, oh my God, how are you making it through life? Are you making it through life? Are you a teenager? Do you just not know? Which I can accept that, but that doesn't mean I want to watch her. You know, like she would go into some of the puzzles, because there are some puzzles. She'd go into some puzzles and it would just baffle. She'd be like, you just look at it and go like, I don't understand this. How can I possibly finish this? And I just look at the screen like, this is like the easiest puzzle in the entire game, and she's struggling. Okay, but that's not the bad thing that I had to say about the game. It's called Dispatch, which is pretty cool. It's a cool name. Because what you are is you're a dispatcher of superheroes, and you respond to calls of trouble. Now, I'm not going to go into the story or anything like that. I'll let you, if you want to watch it, if you want to make your own decision on if it's a good game or not. But like I said, I've watched like 6 playthroughs of this thing. And from what I can tell, it doesn't matter if you succeed or fail in any of the tasks. None of them. It doesn't matter what your choices are, or it does matter storyline. Like there's this one mission where there's one question you have to make where it's either A or B, and then at the end of the game, that A or B choice will show up as a theme, but it doesn't affect the game in any way at all. Same thing with the all the decisions you make during the game have no effect in the game. Worse than Mass Effect. I've been thinking, and I can't bring myself to do it, but I thought about buying the game and then deliberately failing all of the challenges just to see if it changes anything. Because from what I can tell from all the playthroughs, they don't have anything to do with anything. Okay, give me a second. I'm going to make sure I'm spelling this correct. I think it's under light. Yeah. Oh, it's LEIB. It's Veterans of Spain and was sometimes called the Von Butt Battalion or Postier. Oh, Major Von Postier. Hmm. Okay, it doesn't say. Oh, it does say right there. Guards Battalion. Leave doesn't mean guard. Body. Okay, so body. It means body. Yeah, Leibniz. Yeah, that's what I was thinking as it meant something like it's not lion. Menschlich Leib means the human body, the physical body. Okay. Body, not life, not light. So it could be guard. It's guard. My stomach is doing its thing again. And it's Leib. Oh, I can get rid of that. Okay. I thought it was Lieb, but it's not Lieb, it's Lieb. Okay, so they're the guards. Awesome. Okay. And I am prepared to mount these bastards on their bases. Yeah, so the video I was thinking about making was specifically to target the fact, two reasons. I watched a bunch of streams which it's addicting. Okay, that's part of it. That's part of the problem, is what I'm trying to say. It's addicting, but the problem that I have with the game is the story. It's well written and all that, and it's well voice acted, and you know, the programming of the game, it seems to work really good. And yeah, I have no problems with the mechanics of the game is just perfectly fine, other than the fact that it doesn't matter if you win or lose. You're going to get the same story at the end. With some nuance. Well, the only change to the story is the way it's displayed to you. There's no consequences. That's what I'm trying to say. Of losing, winning or losing. And any consequence there is How many of these do I have? That's only half the problem. The other half of the problem that I have with that game is the story. Not the fact that it's poorly written or poorly acted or any of that, because that's not true. It's actually well done. It's the actual meat of the story. The overarching premise, I should say, of the story is, and this isn't really spoiling anything, hopefully it's not spoiling too much, you play as a dispatcher for a group of villains that are trying to become heroes. You know, and that seems like a good thing. You know, it could be a good thing. But the problem with it is it kind of leads the story makes you sympathetic to the villains. You know, like, oh, he's just a villain. You know, he doesn't mean to be a bad guy. You know, it's just, he's a victim of circumstance. Or, you know, and so you kind of get this hidden agenda in the background of that story. They're kind of like saying, it's okay to be a villain. I know they don't come out and say that. It's very subliminal. But I am very keenly aware of demonic influence. And I get the impression, now I could be totally off base, but I get the impression that the writer is demonically influenced. Either knowingly or subconsciously, he wrote a story that promotes villainy. $25. Okay, so that was 30, 40 minutes. Okay, not too bad. Just a little over 30. A 40-minute, even if it was 45 minutes, that's not bad. I was kind of expecting about an hour per. But we got 3 of them rebased. And I'm gonna try to do a whole box a day. If I can do a little bit more than a whole box a day, then that's going to be good. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming out and hearing me lecture about Dispatch and the 3I Atlas asteroid that's coming our way, and the Trinity, and my Napoleonic project, basing, why I'm going to these bases instead of the older basing style. When I get, I've been thinking about the rules. Believe me, I've been thinking about the rules and how I'm incorporating them. Numbers have been crunching in my mind. When I get every figure ready for Quatre Bras, I'll have no excuse but to crack down on those rules, or to put them on paper. And I've been looking at a couple of different places that print PDFs in professional styles, so I can send them a PDF and they'll print out a book for me. The more pages that I send them, the more expensive it is, and the more copies I order, the less expensive it is, etc., etc. And I think I found a place that I'm going to use, and when I get my rules written, which I really hope it's by February, March timeframe, I really want to have all my figures done and the rules written. I will print a bunch of copies and sell them on my eBay store. I've been thinking about creating my own website and going direct, selling direct on my website, specifically for my rules, but I might go both ways. Go direct will be cheaper. Going through eBay might be a little bit more expensive because they take a cut. I might even do a print on demand kind of thing. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. So, why is my screen black? Says I'm streaming. Hang on, what's going on my monitor? Ah, there it is. Okay, it's good. I just had to refresh it. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming out and hanging out with me, and I will catch you tomorrow. Probably. I think I'll be on tomorrow. Maybe doing some more basing. I might actually sit down with the rules and crunch some numbers. I'll have to think about that. But again, tonight, 7 o'clock, Pendragon. All right, catch you then.